Hello, Algebra 2 students. This is a quick review of our notes on functions day 1. So a relation is any relationship between two sets of numbers. However, a relation is a function when every input is matched with exactly one output. So you can see below we have examples of functions. When I input -2, I get out 3. When I input 0, I get out 2. When I input 1, I get out 5. When I input 5, I get out 0. So you can see that these are functions because every input has just one output. You can see here when I input 2, I get out 3. When I input 1, I get out 5. On this one as well, the points are connected, but this graph is made up of points, so that when I input 0, I get out 0. When I input 1, I get out 1, and when I input 2, I get out 4. So every input has just one output. But over here we have some non-examples. And the question you should ask yourself before you continue listening is, why are these not functions? So for the first one, you should notice that when you input 0, you have two different outputs. So when x equals 0, there are two different outputs. All right, and for the next one, it's actually the same exact thing. When x equals 0, the output could be 2, or the output could be 4. So when x is 0, there are two different y's. Y's are the same as the output. Some people also like to use the vertical line test. The vertical line test finds those x values that have two different y's. If you can draw a vertical line that goes through two different points on the graph, that means they are an x value with different y values. So you can also write, did not pass vertical line test. Okay, and then over here, same thing. You can see several places where there is an x value that has two different y values. Here x is 3 and the y might be a positive or a negative. But again, you can also just say that it does not pass vertical line test. All right, and then below, you should really pause the video before finding out if these are functions. So pause the video, try them, and then continue on. All right, so looking here, I can see that when 1 is the input, there are two different outputs, so that would be a no. The next one, when -2 is the input, there are two different outputs. That also does not pass the vertical line test, so that's a no. The third one, when x is 0, I know that my output is 3. When x is 1, my output is 4. When x is 2, my output is 5. When x is 3, my output is 4. None of the x's repeat. It's okay that the y's repeat. So this one, yes, it is a function. And the last one does not have any repeated x's. You can see that the vertical line only crosses the function one time. So yes, it's a function. Okay. On the back, function notation is when you replace y equals with f of x equals. It's read as f of x, and it does not mean f times x. To rewrite an equation in function notation, just replace the y equals with f of x equals. All right, to evaluate for a given x value, notice that instead of f of x, it says f of 4. That means 4 is the x. So we write f of 4 equals, and we're going to put 4 here too, 3 times 4 minus 2. So 3 times 4 is 12, minus 2 is 10. F of 4 equals 10. So when x is 4, y is 10. Same thing over here. F of negative 3 equals negative 3 squared plus 2. When you square a negative, negative times negative is positive, so you get 9 plus 2 is 11. So f of negative 3 equals 11. For number 5, they actually give you the y value. This time f of x, remember, means y. We just put the f of x instead of y. So I'm going to put that 7 instead of the f of x. 7 equals 3x minus 2. And now I just have a linear equation to solve. So I'm going to undo the minus 2 with plus 2. And that will cancel. I get 9 equals 3x. Undo 3 times x by dividing by 3. And I get x equals 3. Okay, we're going to finish our notes down here. So I apologize, this graph does not show as much detail as it did on my computer, and so we're going to do a little estimating. So for your x-intercepts, those are where you cross the x-axis, and your x-axis is down here. And I'm just going to move this out of the way real quick. So here are my x-intercepts, here and here. And you want to write them as ordered pairs. So the x is negative 0.5, but then the y is the height of the point, which is 0. So negative 0.5, 0, and then this one here, 2.5, and again, 0. Okay? Your y-intercept is where you cross the y-axis. We can see it's a little bit above 5, but we can't see exactly where, it is about 5.5. So this time the y is 5.5, and then your x value, left and right, your x value is 0. All right, looking at f of 0.2. Well, this is 0.5 here, so 0.2 should be about here. And when you go up, you land around here. Now this is 5, this is 10, so we are estimating that this here is 7. So f of 0.2, when 0.2 is the x, 7 is the y. F of 2.4, well, that's pretty close to 2.5. So here's 2.4, and when you go up, you can see that we hardly went up at all, and we're going to estimate this to be a y value of 1. So when x is 2.4, the y is 1. And then the last question is asking, when the x is what, the y is 10. So this time we look at where the y is 10. It's right about here. We go down, and that is an x value of 1.